Hey guys, it's Roy from Tallneck Tech. I wanted to take some time today just to look at some people's builds on Reddit and give them some recommendations. We're going to be checking out some things on r/build-a-pc. We're going to take a look, see if we can give people some advice and try to have some fun. So let's do it. This first post is about the 7800 X3D and the Asus ROG B650-EF. Okay, so a little bit of advice for those of you out there. Asus boards like to overspec how much wattage is going to the CPU. So if you go into the BIOS on an Asus motherboard, whenever I ship computers on Asus motherboards, I always drop down the amount of voltage by maybe like 0.2 volts and test it around there. If you want to be safe, you can do, 0.1 volts, take it from there. Oh, okay, right, so this is an Expo issue. So Expo is AMD's version of XMP, and all of these things are super finicky. Some motherboards will say something will work and it won't work. And then you'll have motherboards that say they don't support certain configurations, and you'll be able to get them to work by setting them manually. Yeah, no, it looks like this person figured it out. Well, good for them. I am struggling because my PC is running, but it won't display on the monitor, and the VGA LED is red. Been there. I checked the manual for the motherboard, but there was nothing. I was hoping my graphics card isn't dead because I just bought not that long ago. For those of you at home, if your CPU has integrated graphics, you can try booting it without your graphics card if you're having any issues. So it looks like he's running off the X870. This motherboard is massive. There's definitely some video out from this board. Yeah, you see it right there. An HDMI out. Oh, well, I know this car. This is the Dual Evo. The Dual Evo, if I'm not mistaken, look at this power supply. Okay, it has a 12-volt high power rail cable. So here's the problem with this one. We need to know how it displays BIOS codes to figure out what's going on. You see how this motherboard has no screen up at the top, so it doesn't display BIOS codes through a screen. There's got to be space for a BIOS speaker somewhere down there. And if you don't know what a BIOS speaker is, it's a little teeny tiny 3-pin speaker. It's just negative positive ground, and it beeps out codes that tell you what's going on your motherboard. We found the pinout of the motherboard. It looks like it depends on the case having a speaker, which I don't think every case has a speaker. Some cases do, some don't, but I'm gonna let this guy know. Let's see if we can get that over to him. I left him a comment. I basically told him that his best bet is to unplug his graphics card and plug an HDMI cable into the back of the motherboard, because if he can get video out through the motherboard, that means the problem is the GPU. If not, he has to deal with the BIOS codes and figure out what BIOS code he's getting. Hopefully he can get it sorted out. I've had all kinds of issues with motherboards where for a second I thought it was the graphics card, but it turned out it was actually the motherboard that was messed up. And then I've had the opposite happen. I've had it, be the motherboard was fine and the graphics card was junk. Or I've had both happen where the motherboard and the graphics card are messed up. So whatever happens, hopefully that advice was helpful. Okay, I'm gonna sort by new again. And let's see if we're getting anything else interesting. 9950 X3D. Best RAM choices. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think that for 95% of us, just going with 6,000 megahertz per second RAM is fine. The clock speed matters more than anything else. Just buying low clock speed RAM. I think that the megahertz is a scam. There have been several tests done by a bunch of PC enthusiasts where they test super high megahertz RAM against standard RAM, and the differences are super negligible for most purposes. If you're playing recent games at 4K, that's one thing, but this guy already got a response. Okay, that seems good. Video upscaling and transcoding. Gaming, AI upscaling. Yeah, same stuff the rest of us use PCs for. Run visual models. Okay, well, he does say he runs visual models. Let me do some research, one sec. Yeah, this is Corsair is basically confirming what I said. So this is the 9950X3D, and they're recommending 64 gigabyte kits using 2 sticks. So I'm gonna recommend that for this guy. All right, so I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna see if I can help this guy with the valid upgrade. He's saying I went from an Alienware pre-built, converted to a custom PC, 10900 KF. Nice, KF fam. 64 gigabytes of DDR4, 2666, Dell 3080, factory underclocked. Good job, Dell. 2 terabyte Samsung SSD, 120 millimeter Alienware AIO, 120 millimeter. Okay. All right. Well, it's his first time building, so in progress custom build of Ryzen 7 9800X3D, 64 gigabytes Trident. Okay, he's got a 5070 Ti. Nice. 011K. Yeah, I mean, the 5070 Ti is great. Everybody loves the 011 now. Do I think the 011 is cool? Yes. Do I think that it's gonna get old fast when you have a super dusty PC case where the whole thing is just a big fish tank and there's dust in it and there's just RGB lights coming out from every angle in your face? Yes. That too. Alright, so gave him a little bit of advice. I told him to definitely use a beefy power supply, like 850 watts and up. I think 850 watts is like a safe bet. Not to go with ASRock motherboards, because there's been a string of complaints about ASRock motherboards blowing up 9800 and 7800 X3D CPUs. So if you're building a PC, maybe watch out for that combination specifically, at least until we have some kind of confirmation or statement from ASRock about what's been going on with their motherboards and that specific CPU. All right, let's do one more. GPU fans suddenly turning on at random moments in game. Fans are extremely loud. Okay. See what the comments say. I don't know this card specifically, but I know the 4080 Super and I know this one. Okay, suddenly recognize the game as a heavy program or something. Okay, so fun fact, and I might even put a little infographic when I post this to YouTube. Most high-end cards have a tiny little toggle switch on them, and that toggle switch changes the BIOS for your graphics card. One setting will overclock your card and run the fans super hard. The other setting is called quiet mode. Really, it's just standard clock, and it runs much quieter. So if you're running with the overclock on, that tiny little toggle switch, usually it's to the left of where the power cable goes into your graphics card, it's going to be super duper loud. Okay, so left him a couple comments. Hopefully that helps. For anyone who doesn't know, if you press Alt Z it'll pull up GeForce Experience if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, which, let's be honest, most of us do. Here you have access to a bunch of NVIDIA features, like you can go to performance, and over here you can see your GPU temperature, you can see the utilization, your memory clock, your voltage. You can see how much of your CPU is being utilized, and you can adjust things. If you don't know what you're doing, just leave it at automatic. But what I like to do is set the max temperature, because let's say you set the max temperature to like 75 degrees. That means your GPU will run the fans hard enough to not let the temperature go above 75 degrees. So it's a good way of prolonging the life of your card if that's really all you care about. Super awesome feature. Okay, looks like we got a response from this guy. Let's check it out. I already have a 5070 Ti from Asus. Ooh, good for him. Okay, got it for MSRP. Yeah, he's doing good. Let's see what this other person commented. Looks like I posted the wrong thing. Okay, this is fun. Okay, computer enthusiast, impulsively build for the hell of it on a budget, and DIY for 20 plus years. Nice. Same. Impulsively build an MATX PC for the hell of it on a budget. Co-Link rocket vented case. I don't know this case. Let's check it out. Co-Link. Oh, this thing is kind of cool. Co-Link. This kind of looks like a Mac, like those old school iMacs. I dig it. Yeah, this thing is very cool. Asus ROG Strix Z390i Gaming, low profile cooler, Thermalright AXP90. I don't know this cooler. Let's look that up too. Oh, right, the AXP90. Yeah, this is cool. I don't use this in my builds because the Fractal Terra doesn't have a lot of space between the side of the case and the cooler. So if you have a fan right up against it, you get some interference and it sounds like a jet engine taking off. That's why I pretty much exclusively use coolers where the fan is behind the cooler grill. And then costs, very cool, like rotted. Okay, i5 on a budget. What's the total budget so far? Oh, he's writing it in euros. Leaning towards a 2060S 2070 or a well-priced, good price. Okay, cool. Stoked to see it. Let's do one more. I know I said the last one I was done, but I'm enjoying myself. Let's check out this time for an upgrade. Yeah, let's do this one. The other guy who was above him was already getting some help with something, so let's see if I can help this guy. He's saying, I built what I have about 8 years ago on a limited budget. It's time for an upgrade. Plan to do it in 2 parts. So he's listing his CPU and some other things. Listing the SSD, listing the power supply. Okay, keeping the GPU. Yeah, I think that's wise. That's what I told the last guy to do. And guys, if you can, don't buy a GPU now. Just wait. Wait like a year. Wait until the price of cards goes down, because they're super inflated right now. 7800 X3D, maybe even a 9800. And would need a cooler for it. A few fans for the case so the airflow is okay. Motherboard, haven't the faintest idea. Gaming, okay, so they're using this PC for gaming and some Excel work in the future. Just tomorrow, but thank you in advance already. 1k euro. I got you, my bro. 1,000 euro is more or less $1,000, right? So this guy's on $1,000 budget and he's talking about a 9800 X3D, which is a $450 processor. He's never gonna have enough money. So let's see what we can do for him. Looking at his current build, He's got a Ryzen 5 1600. Yeah, this dude could use this dude could definitely use an upgrade. It's a Strix B350. Does the B350 have a PCI Express 4 port? That's what I'm curious about. Nah, it's a 3.0 port. That's not terrible. Okay. Alright, let's make this guy a build. We're gonna go to PC Part Picker. And let's start a build. Let's pick a cooler. I say, look, if you're on a budget, it's the Peerless Assassin, baby. It's either the Phantom Spirit or the Peerless Assassin. Either way, we're getting one of those, because when you're on a budget, Thermalright's killing it. So from there, let's pick a motherboard. Okay, that's way overpriced. 670. Wow, a lot of these motherboards are so overpriced, it's crazy. Let's see if we can get this dude to 670. 670s usually have pretty good power staging. Why, when I search 670, does everything disappear? Take away the compatibility feature. Okay. Turn compatibility back on. Sort by price. Too expensive, too expensive, too expensive. We're shooting for 200 here. Not too cheap, but not too expensive. That's ugly. 229, Project Zero. Ooh, that's kind of cool. But I don't know if he's building a Project Zero. Nah, that gets really complicated. See, I've been scared of ASRock lately. Truthfully, all these motherboard vendors are super sus, but ASRock in particular, because they've been having the 9800 X2Ds blow up on them. So let's see. This one has, yeah, it's the Asus Tough series. Those are good motherboards. Generally, I prefer white, but everyone seems to think, you know, black components are cooler. So let's see. Yeah, I think this should be fine. And the parts list. Okay, memory. We're gonna go with the standard 32 gigabytes. And then storage, I'll be honest, or if you play games, you need at least 2 terabytes of storage, because games are like 150 gigabytes now, and that's, what, 150 gigabytes? That's almost like a fifth of your storage for one game. So no 1 terabyte drives, only 2 or more. P3 Plus, yep. Good. Okay, choose the case. I really do like the Fractal Pop Air Mini. I mean, it's a cute case. It's on my website, guys, if you ever want to check it out. I love the Pop Air Mini. Everybody seems to love the Lee & Lee cases. I like to recommend for first-time builders, although he did say that he built this last one. I like the Corsair 4000D because it's cheap, it's available everywhere, and nobody seems to have a problem with it. Yeah, it's 84 bucks. It's like one of the best kind of cheapskate cases. Although we did use a micro ATX board. You know what? Let's see if we can find this guy a full-size motherboard. If it's not that much more. Gigabyte Aorus. I want to read the one negative review. It's defective. Okay, one person got a defective board. I'm adding this to the parts list. What does that put us at? 879, so that gives us a little bit of a budget. Let's see if we can find this dude a good power supply. I say Corsair SF1000. See, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this guy is not gonna need a 1000 watt power supply. I just don't see that happening. The power supplies I like to use, I use Corsair, I use EVGA, and I use Lee & Lee. I don't really stray from those companies so much, although there are, Be Quiet I would trust. 1000 watts. See, I don't think this dude should be paying that much money, but at the same time, I don't know what his plan is. So let's sort by 2024. Okay, that's expensive. What's this? 850X? Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so let me save as Reddit build. Oh, that's so sweet. This guy thinks that he can keep his RAM, even though he has DDR4 RAM. Let's go with the 9700X instead. It won't be that much more. Let me do the conversion again. Euro to dollars. Yeah, should be fine. There's a CPU. Okay, this is the 9700X. Add. And then save. So now I gotta justify this. Give me a sec. I left him a comment, and hopefully this helps him out. So basically the build that I made for him was this build here. And for those of you who are minimizing price and maximizing just yield, this is basically the build. I might even use this at some point because it's just so good. I mean, what else is there really? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully this build helps him out. So thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing. And if you want to support me, I have a link to my Buy Me a Coffee down in the description. I post builds every month, completely free. And if you're interested in buying a PC, check out my website, tallnecktech.com. See you in the next video. Bye.